Neka lived with her mother, Mama Ngozi, in a small cozy apartment in Lagos. She worked hard at a fashion company as an intern, but Mama Ngozi always worried about one thing. Neka wasn't married yet. Neka, you are 29 years old. Do you want me to grow old without seeing you get married? Mama asked one evening while peeling yam for dinner. Mama, I'm busy with work. Besides, I'm not ready, Neka replied, rolling her eyes. You're never ready, Mama said. But I found you a blind date. His name is Tunde. He's smart, handsome, and has a good job. Meet him tomorrow at Zobo's Grill at 7 p.m. Wear something nice. Neka sighed. Okay, Mama, I'll go, but only because you won't stop talking about it. The next evening, Neka dressed in her favorite yellow dress and arrived at Zobo's Grill. She looked at the photo Mama gave her. Tunde was supposed to be wearing a blue shirt. She spotted a man in a blue shirt sitting alone and walked up to him. Hi, I'm Neka. Are you Tunde? The man looked surprised but smiled. I guess I am. Nice to meet you. His name was not Tunde, it was Kola, but he decided to go along with it, curious about this confident young woman. They talked about their lives. Neka shared her struggles as an intern and her dream of owning her own fashion boutique. Kola listened carefully, smiling at her jokes. Meanwhile, the real Tunde sat at another table, wondering where Neka was. During their conversation, Kola noticed that Neka seemed a little sad. What's wrong? He asked. It's my birthday today, but no one remembered, Neka said with a small shrug. Kola excused himself, spoke to the waiter, and returned with a small slice of cake with a lit candle. Happy birthday, Neka, he said. Neka's eyes widened. You didn't have to do this. Thank you so much. It's your special day. You deserve it, Kola replied. As Neka and Kola left Zobo's Grill, the night air in Lagos was warm and filled with the hum of the busy city. Kola held the door open for her, a small but thoughtful gesture that made Neka smile. Thank you for tonight, Kola, Neka said, stopping to adjust her purse. I had a great time, even though this wasn't what I expected, Kola chuckled. I didn't expect it either, but sometimes the best things happen by accident. Neka blushed slightly, unsure of how to respond. Outside the restaurant, taxis lined up under the glow of streetlights. Kola hailed one for her, opening the door and gesturing for her to get in. You don't have to do all this, Neka said shyly as she stepped inside. It's the least I can do. You made my evening brighter, and I hope your birthday was a little more special, Kola replied, leaning on the doorframe. Neka hesitated, feeling like she should say something more. Kola, do you want to... Before she could finish, Kola smiled warmly. Take care, Neka. I hope we meet again. He gently closed the taxi door and stepped back. As the taxi drove off, Neka glanced back, watching Kola disappear into the crowd. Her heart felt a strange mix of happiness and longing. Who was this man, and why did he make her feel so seen? The next day, Neka returned to work at Madame Bola's fashion company. Her boss, Madame Bola, was strict and often yelled at the interns. During lunch, Neka overheard her co-workers gossiping. Did you hear? A big investor is visiting today. He's super rich and owns a tech company. I bet he's going to be so full of himself, another said. Neka ignored them, focused on finishing her sketches. Later, everyone gathered in the meeting room to meet the investor. When the investor walked in, Neka froze. It was Kola. Kola looked around the room and briefly made eye contact with Neka, but he didn't say anything. Kola was a successful CEO, but his family was always pressuring him. His older brother, Kunle, wanted Kola to marry someone from a wealthy family. Kola, you're 32. It's time to think about the family's reputation. You can't marry just anyone, Kunle said during a family dinner. I don't care about money or reputation. I want to marry someone who loves me for me, Kola replied firmly. His mother, Mama Ade Kunle, sighed. You're being stubborn, Kola. Marriage is about responsibility, not just feelings. Back at work, Kola announced a new project to create a line of tech-inspired fashion. He picked Nika to lead the project. Her co-workers, especially Adesua, were furious. Why does she get to lead? She's just an intern, Adesua complained. Madame Bola defended Kola's decision. He sees potential in her. Let's give her a chance. Nika worked hard on the project, often staying late. Kola sometimes joined her, and they talked about their dreams. I've always wanted to start a tech school for kids who can't afford education, Kola shared. Nika smiled. That's amazing, Kola. I hope you make it happen. Adesua, jealous of Nika's growing success, started spreading rumors. She's only getting attention because she's pretty, Adesua told others. One day, Adesua confronted Nika in front of everyone. Stop pretending you're better than us. We all know why Kola likes you. Before Nika could respond, Kola entered the room. He calmly said, if you spent as much time working as you do gossiping, you'd be the one leading the project. Adesua turned red with embarrassment and left the room. One weekend, Kola invited Nika to his family's home for dinner. She dressed modestly and arrived feeling nervous. At the dinner table, Kunle and Mama Adekunle made snide remarks. So, Nika, what do your parents do? Kunle asked with a fake smile. My father passed away, and my mother sells fruits at the market, Nika replied honestly. Kunle smirked. Interesting. Mama Adekunle added, Kola, you know we expect more from you. This girl doesn't fit our family. Nika excused herself and left the table. Nika sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the ceiling fan as it spun lazily above her. The dinner at Kola's family home had left her feeling humiliated and out of place. Kunle's smirk, Mama Adekunle's cold remarks, they replayed in her mind like a bad movie. When Kola knocked on her door that evening, she hesitated before answering. Kola, what are you doing here? I needed to see you, Kola said, stepping inside. His face was serious, his usual warm smile nowhere to be seen. Kola, I can't do this, Nika said, her voice trembling. Your family doesn't want me around. They think I'm not good enough for you. Kola sat beside her on the couch, his hand gently resting on hers. Nika, don't let my family's opinions make you doubt yourself. They don't see what I see. And what do you see, Kola? Nika asked, tears welling up in her eyes. I see a strong, talented woman who isn't afraid to chase her dreams. I see someone who makes me laugh, who challenges me to be better. I see someone I want in my life, no matter what anyone else says. Nika looked down, her emotions swirling. But Kola, this isn't just about us. Your family is important to you. I don't want to be the reason you fight with them. Kola shook his head. I've spent my whole life trying to make everyone else happy. My family, my company, my employees. For once, I want to fight for what makes me happy. And that's you, Nika. His words struck a chord deep within her. Slowly, she nodded. Okay, Kola, but promise me one thing. Anything, Kola said, leaning closer. Promise me we'll face this together, Nika said, her voice firm. Kola smiled for the first time that evening. I promise. The day of the big presentation arrived, and Nika felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She had spent weeks working on the project, and now it was time to show everyone her ideas. The conference room was packed with employees, including Madame Bola, Adesua, and of course, Kola. Nika stood at the front, holding her sketches and notes. Good morning, everyone, she began, her voice a little shaky. Today, I'll be presenting a new fashion line inspired by technology and innovation. This collection is designed to combine functionality with style. She flipped through her sketches, showing dresses with hidden phone pockets, jackets with charging ports, and sleek, modern designs. As she spoke, she noticed Kola nodding in approval. Madame Bola's usual stern expression softened. and some of her co-workers leaned forward, clearly impressed. When she finished, the room erupted in applause. Madame Bola stood up. Well done, Neka. This is exactly the kind of fresh perspective we need. I'm proud of you. Neka felt a rush of pride and relief. She glanced at Kola, who mouthed the words, Great job. As the team filed out, Kola approached her. You were incredible, Neka. I knew you could do it. Thank you, Kola. I couldn't have done it without your support, she said, her cheeks flushing. Adesuwa, standing nearby, looked less than pleased. But for the first time, Neka didn't care. She had proven herself. 2 weeks after the presentation, Kola invited Neka to a high-profile company gala. It was a formal event, filled with Lagos's most influential people. Kola, are you sure about this? Neka asked nervously as they walked into the grand ballroom. She wore a stunning red gown, one of her own designs, but she still felt out of place. Absolutely, Kola replied, taking her hand. It's time everyone knows how important you are to me. As they entered the room, all eyes turned to them. Whispers spread through the crowd. Who's that with Kola? She's beautiful. I heard she's an intern at Madame Bola's company. Kola introduced Neka to several business partners and friends. He spoke highly of her, praising her creativity and work ethic. When they approached Kunle and Mama Adekunle, the room seemed to hold its breath. Kola, Kunle said, his tone icy. You didn't tell us you were bringing a guest. Why would I need to? Neka is my partner, and she belongs here just as much as anyone else. Kola replied firmly. Mama Adekunle frowned but said nothing. Neka, feeling Kola's support, smiled politely. Later in the evening, Kola took the microphone to make a speech. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, he began, but I also want to take a moment to acknowledge someone very special. Neka, you've inspired me in ways I didn't think were possible. Thank you for being by my side. The room burst into applause, and Neka's heart swelled with emotion. For the first time, she felt like she truly belonged. Months later, Kola proposed to Neka at Zobo's Grill, the same restaurant where they first met. Neka, you've made my life better in so many ways. Will you marry me? Kola asked, holding out a ring. Neka smiled and said, Yes. They got married in a beautiful ceremony surrounded by friends and family. Even Kola's family finally accepted Neka, realizing how happy she made him. Neka opened her own boutique, and Kola started his tech school. Together, they built a life full of love and dreams.